Hush.
Less than a month is left until the end of autumn. Although looking at the ring, you wouldn't say it's autumn at all, because it is always warm here, and that's wonderful. As we know, the Brawl Stars arena has existed for a long time, and many fighters, let's say, have been tired of daily battles. Quite a few of them have become lazy, which the council considers to be a problem. After all, no one forces them to fight. They already earned their money, so they could skip the battles and enjoy life. This is a problem. There's no motivation to do anything, and this concerns the Brawlers Council. Fighters shouldn't think this way. They lose their shape without realizing it, thinking that they are invincible and very strong, which is a deep delusion. Days passed by as usual unnoticed. Amber, the legendary brawler, was walking around the ring with Kit. She really liked him, although of course she loved dogs more, specifically one dog, Raphs, who had a special place in her heart for the rest of her days. Amber jokingly suggested going to Mo's castle to eat him since he was, after all, a cat. Kit declined such a generous offer. Yes, he was a cat, but he didn't eat rats. He was a gourmet and loved exquisite dishes. Like what? Rat on the grill? Ha ha ha, very funny. For example, sushi, rolls, shrimp, sashimi. He adored them. Rolls?
Wow!
Amber also loved them. It was a pity that there was nowhere to get them in the ring. They needed to go to the city to find some Japanese food. They could eat Clancy's burgers or Dak's hot dogs. While talking about sushi and rolls, they walked and didn't notice how they reached the end of their ring, where Kit saw Yatai. Yatai? Amber asked. What is that? What she was ahead was indeed a yatai. Such places are usually small semi-permanent stalls in Japan. Simply put, food stands. They are all called yatai in Japan, and here was one of them in the ring. Is there sushi being sold there? The girl asked. Yes, Kit replied. They approached and sat down. Amber saw rolls on the shelf. My goodness, she wanted to eat everything. Kit said it was a prop to attract customers. It still looked delicious. The Brawlers didn't understand why there was no one there. They began calling for the chef, and from the corner, he emerged. A man dressed in all Japanese attire, a bit scruffy with scars, an eye patch, and a sword on his back. So this was a real samurai. Amber and Kit were amazed. He looked so cool. He radiated confidence, strength, and delicious sushi. The guy smiled at them, introduced himself as Kenji, and said that he cooked the most delicious sushi not only in Japan, but also in the whole world. The Brawlers wanted to try them as soon as possible. Kenji prepared and served them his signature sushi, which looked very appetizing. They ate it all in just 5 minutes. It was so delicious. Amber shouted, "Take all my money! I want more!" Kenji said not today. It was already late and he had to close up. By the way, they were his first customers. First? Did you just open today? No, it's just not one usually comes here. They were the first to visit him. The Brawler said they would tell everyone about this place. It was a find. Plus, his Japanese accent made it feel like they were in Japan. Kenji casually asked if they liked to fight at all. Well, yes, both fighters answered at the same time. Of course, many nowadays don't really enjoy fighting. Some are tired and push themselves while others consider themselves very strong, feel no competition and don't go into battles at all. But they weren't like that. They enjoy the competition. Wow, that's great! Kenji liked their answer and wished them a good evening. As promised, the fighters told others about Kenji's yatai. Everyone who came to eat to him was asked the same question. Did they like to fight? Many answered yes, while some fight a higher rank replied that they didn't particularly enjoy it. But they still went because if they stopped fighting, there would be nothing to watch and everyone would forget the ring. Kenji was pleased with their answers. He looked so rocked as a samurai. Everyone was obvious. He was very strong and had fought in more than one battle, but for some reason he decided to cook sushi. Kenji suspiciously said little about his past, but he cooked sushi so well that visitors didn't care. It's wondering if the council knows about this place. Or is everything illegal again, like with Clancy? Let's hope for the best. Dak also stopped by. He had never tried sushi. Kenji was happy to introduce him to Japanese cuisine. He asked if Dak liked to fight. Oh, the brawler replied that not really. He was all for peace, friendship, and gum. But fortunately, in fights they don't kill each other, so he has to go, even though he still has his hot dog stand where he works. It's tough for him, of course, but the main thing is that he finds time for battles. Kenji liked his answer as well and served him his signature sushi, which Dak loved. This is better than hot dogs. In the gift shop, Colette was begging Edgar to go with her and try the sushi everyone was talking about. Edgar didn't want to go anywhere at all. Can they just order it? No, Colette replied. There's only one person working there. I think his name is Kenji. Everyone praises his sushi. Well, what? Let him deliver it. Oh, you should just be at the fights, Colette said. You've become so lazy. I fight more often than you do. So yes, it's just that he's too strong. And about the sushi, maybe another time. The day was coming to an end. Kenji was already thinking about closing up, but before he did, another legendary brawler, Leon, came to try the sushi. The guy was happy to cook for him, but before he did, he asked, "Does he like to fight?" Fighting? Not for a long time. He was one of the oldest brawlers and one of the strongest as well. He just earns money and enjoys life. Let the weaklings and those who are interested fight. So that Kenji was not satisfied with his answer. Leon was puzzled. What was he thinking? Kenji replied that he despised lazy people and that his opinion of himself was inflated. He should show how strong he really was. Leon accepted his challenge. So that's how it is. A pretty good ability to become invisible. Though what was surprising? After all, he is a legendary fighter. But to defeat him, that's not enough. Kenji didn't even draw his sword. He was so confident in himself. With one swift motion, he disarmed the fighter. Not bad, but is that legendary strength? Kenji asked. Leon couldn't speak. Kenji was choking him. The guy finally let him and said he would still prepare sushi for him, but with one condition. He must become stronger and not underestimate others. Leon was horrified. Kenji had defeated him that quickly, and he hadn't even drawn his sword. How strong was this samurai? Kenji treated him to sushi and asked him not to tell anyone about what had just happened. It was not beneficial for him. Leon said he wasn't going to. That was a disgrace for him. Kenji replied that fighting a samurai, even a former one, should always be an honor. The brawler didn't understand why he had set this up. Why had he even come to the ring? Kenji answered briefly. The less you know, the better you sleep. He asked if there was the strongest fighter in the ring. The strongest? There used to be a tournament and the strongest were Fang and Edgar. Like that. Okay. Kenji was already thinking about closing up when Leon said everything was delicious and left. He was about to go to sleep. By the way, he lived in his own shop. But it was still unclear. What goals Kenji was pursuing? What had he forgotten in the ring? and what had happened to him in the past. A week had passed since that day, and life in the arena was in full swing. Leon began attending battles again, working to regain his lost abilities. He had weakened too much due to his laziness and pride. It was time to return to his former strength. Nobody knew about what had happened that night, and such incidents didn't occur again. Those who had been lazy before, after seeing that Leon had started participating in battles again, decided not to fall behind him and joined in as well. The Council of Brawlers was very pleased that the fighters had started battling again. It was better than a week ago. Kenji continued to welcome new clients. Not everyone in the arena had tasted his sushi yet, but those who had were thrilled. The Brawlers also admired his sword, but Kenji corrected them, saying it was not a sword but a katana, two different types of weaponry. No one argued with him, of course. Fang had also heard about Kenji's yatai, but he still hesitated to visit the place. He spent his days at home, having lost the meaning of life. He had everything he had ever dreamed of, but what was he supposed to do next? These thoughts consumed him. Everything seemed to cloud his mind. You know, I don't understand people like him. Life is filled with so many wonderful things. The fact that we wake up is already a miracle for which we should thank God. And there are thousands of such miracles. He didn't even have a family. Why not start one? This could mark a new phase in his boring life. Alright, let's leave Fang alone. A fighter came to the Council of Brawlers and complained about Kenji's yatai, claiming that the samurai was running an illegal operation in the arena and making money. This place needed to be shut down immediately. The council members asked the fighter to refrain from meddling where he shouldn't and told him it was their business. They would handle it, and he should focus on what he was supposed to do, fight. So it was illegal. Days went by, and Kenji was at his station keeping record in a notebook of how many fighters had already visited the yatai. Wow, he even knew how many brawlers there were in the arena. Although the information was public, what was there to be surprised about? By his calculations, not all the fighters had come yet. He hoped to meet them soon. Colette had been asking Edgar every single day for the past week to go and try the sushi. He was so lazy to go, but even lazier to listen to her requests. He couldn't take it anymore and finally said that they would go. Really? Yes. When? Maybe today? Yes, enough questions. My head is about to explode. Oh, how amusing they were. Finally, this couple left the shop and headed to Kenji's yatai. Colette was on cloud 9. She would finally get to try his famous sushi. Edgar didn't really like sushi and didn't understand why anyone would be so excited about food. So it will go out from one place. You can say that about everything, Colette replied. You need to enjoy life, not complain about it. Oh yeah, can't argue with that. After about 10 minutes, they arrived at their destination. Kenji saw the new brawlers. They had finally come. Edgar stared at him, thinking, so this is Kenji. He looked every bit the samurai. They sat down.
Nice to meet you. My name is Kenji. Though in Japan they called me Kenzie. Call me whatever is more convenient.
Colette began expressing how happy she was to finally be there. Kenji said he would prepare the most delicious sushi for her. Edgar was glad to meet him, but he wasn't going to eat anything. Sushi wasn't his thing. Colette was on standby, ready to devour everything fastly. Kenji asked her not to rush. Why?
Do you like to fight?
Colette answered yes, of course. She was always in the gift shop and it was so boring there. But whenever she could, she rushed to battles. It was much more interesting there.
Is that so? Good.
Kenji wanted to ask the same question to Edgar, but Edgar interrupted him and asked him, Is this an interrogation? No interrogation, Kenji replied. I'm just curious. Curious? They just came to try the sushi. What does it matter if they like to fight or not? Colette told Edgar to calm down. He was just interested.
I will repeat. So do you like to fight or not?
No! Edgar snapped angrily. He hadn't fought in a long time, and anyway, it didn't concern him. He would rather focus on his business.
Focus on business? How would you know what my business is?
Edgar replied that he didn't care. What kind of service was this? Why had he even come here? Forget it. They are leaving. No, Colette said. She really wanted to try the sushi. Edgar repeated that they were leaving. Kenji asked Edgar to calm down, but he replied rudely he was calm. We're leaving, Edgar shouted again.
You shouldn't talk to a lady like that.
That's not his business. Edgar was in shock. What strength! He had just grabbed his scarf. No one had ever done that to him before. No, he couldn't make a fool of himself in front of his girlfriend.
So, he will be stronger than Leon. Such a victory will be much sweeter.
Kenji reached for his katana, but Colette shouted for them to stop. Edgar had just ruined everything. The girl ran away. And the fighter said was just lucky. Today was his second birthday, so he should be happy, after which he ran after his girlfriend.
Lucky, is it? As I understand it, you are just another lazy person who thinks he's the strongest and can avoid fighting. Just loafing around and even mistreating a girl. Men shouldn't be like that.
Edgar couldn't tolerate this. What speed! Wasn't he supposed to be one of the strongest in the ring, like Leon had said? How shameful! Maybe he could have put up a fight if he hadn't gotten lazy and had fought like he used to do. Edgar didn't know what to say. He really thought that he and Fang were the strongest in the ring. But this Kenji... Where did you come from? The fighter asked him. From Japan, Kenji replied. What is a samurai doing here in the ring? I'm a former samurai. Left that life? No other way. How so? Edgar wanted to learn more, but Kenji said he wouldn't say anything else. He just hated lazy and proud people. Edgar replied that he wasn't proud. It was just after the tournament he thought he was the strongest and stopped caring about battling, since he believed there was nowhere to grow. No one could defeat him. It turned out that someone could.
Make up with your girlfriend. Bring her for sushi. She doesn't deserve to be treated like that.
Yes, he was right. Kenji added, Edgar should resume fighting and become stronger. After all, he earns money from it. His laziness is slowly killing the ring. There are people who like him, but if he's too lazy to fight, those people will simply stop following the ring. And due to every fighter, there won't be anything left. We mustn't forget the original purpose of the ring. Even the name says it all. In Japan, he had rigorous training every day. Edgar wouldn't even last an hour of that. Perhaps. After the fight, he realized everything he had been doing wrong. The fighter said he would fix everything. Kenji asked him not to tell anyone about what had happened. Okay, they would definitely come back here with Colette. Kenji was glad he could reach such a brawler. Almost everyone had already visited him, and he needed to let others know about it.
Everything is going much better than I could have imagined. The goals are almost achieved. Soon everything will fall into place.
How beautiful life is. I think you will agree with me. Thank God for everything we have. If we constantly complain about everything, we'll never be able to be happy. We need to rejoice and be grateful for every little thing, even for the bad days, because they are important too. One such day happened to Edgar. Kenji shattered his ego and took off his rose-colored glasses. He had become lazy and lost his former strength. If it weren't for Kenji, he would have sunk even deeper into the swamp. So the guy was grateful for this lesson. Edgar returned to the gift shop. Colette was upset with him, but when she saw the blood on him, she immediately forgot her grievances and approached to find out what happened. Edgar said that everything was okay. He apologized for what transpired and promised that in a few days they would definitely go to try Kenji's sushi. He will try it too. But he doesn't like sushi. Well, now he wouldn't mind trying it, especially since Kenji is an excellent cook. He would probably enjoy it. Colette was both happy and shocked. How had Edgar changed so much in just a few hours? What happened there? He said it wouldn't be like before. He had understood all his mistakes. Colette forgave his antics. Finally, her Edgar was back. Just a couple of days later, Edgar kept his promise and brought Colette to Kenji. He treated him to his signature sushi. The girl loved it all. It was wonderful. Edgar also appreciated it. It was truly delicious. Kenji was thrilled to bring such joy with his sushi. He shared that almost all the brawlers had visited him during these days. After Leon, everyone felt motivated to fight. Almost? Asked Edgar. Yes, except for one person, Fang. Fang? Do they communicate? Kenji asked. Well, sort of. They used to communicate a lot. But now, Fang is always at home, locked away. He sees no meaning in life, so he doesn't go anywhere, not even to you. How can one waste precious day of life so uselessly? Kenji still believed that Fang would come to see him. Edgar said it was unlikely. It would be better to leave him alone. No, he will wait. And if he doesn't come, he has a backup plan, and Edgar will help him. What plan?
Not now. Just enjoy the sushi. When the time comes, you will find out.
All right, fair enough. They continued their meal. The Council of Brawlers was in great spirits, as many brawlers were now fighting on their own, and the ratings were going up. What could be better? I would call this a new phase in the life of the ring after a long standstill. I hope it continues. Thus beautiful days went by. Colette was serving stew in the gift shop, while Edgar wanted to go watch the fights. Suddenly, Kenji walked in for the first time. Colette and Edgar were surprised at the samurai's arrival. Stu said that once he got his paycheck, he would come back for the necessary things. Okay, have a good day. Kenji said he had come for an important matter, which piqued the fighter's interest. Unfortunately, Fang still hadn't come to his yatai. He seemed uninterested in anything happening in the ring. All the brawlers were talking about his sushi, but he didn't seem to care. But Kenji had a backup plan. It was time to put it into action. Edgar didn't understand what he meant.
Since he doesn't want to go out, he will forcibly bring him out. Because who will help Edgar if not him?
What do you mean help?
No one knows about our fight. We need to use that. You will go to Fang and tell him there's a problem with me, and without his help you won't manage. Tell him it's a matter of honor. He will definitely agree to help, and then I will meet him.
Colette said it was an excellent plan. Fang considered Edgar his brother and would definitely help. But wasn't that deceitful? No deceit, Kenji replied. They had a fight and faced issues. Yes, but thank God they resolved everything. Now it's time to help Fang, so it's all true, just in the past. Alright, if he can help Fang, we will do it. When do we start? Today, as soon as possible. Kenji designated a meeting in a crowded place. An hour passed in silence. The brawlers didn't understand what he was doing there. What about his yatai? The samurai paid no mind. He was just waiting. And finally, he saw him. Here he was, Fang. They finally met. Kenji was thrilled to see him. The plan worked. Edgar didn't interfere. He had fulfilled his task. The brawlers were astonished. Fang finally left his house, and more onlookers gathered. What would happen next? No one knew.
I'm very glad we finally met, Fang. But you know, I absolutely do not approve of the lifestyle you're living right now. I am here to help. You need to change.
Change? Who is he to tell him what to do? He humiliated his brother Edgar, and he will pay for that.
I never humiliated anyone. He needed help and I provided it.
Who are you to decide who needs help and who doesn't? Fang asked.
Enough talk. I want to see what you are capable of. Show me your strength, Fang. I can dodge my fastest attack. Impressive.
The council members arrived. Enough brawlers had gathered. But no one intervened in their fight. Everyone just watched. What a battle it was! Everyone was in shock. Fang was amazed at how strong Kenji was, and he didn't expect such abilities from Fang. Edgar was excited. Fang managed to injure him.
Not bad. I'd even say quite good.
The fighter said it wasn't over yet. So that was why he had the fish. Fang didn't expect that. Kenji used his trump card and injured Fang's legs, which would now make winning very difficult for him. Everyone was in awe how Kenji managed to pull that off. Fang, on other hand, became even angrier.
Enough. Your legs are wounded by my katana. I don't want to continue this.
Fang said he wouldn't give up. He would fight to the death and wouldn't change for everything. All the onlookers were horrified by what he was saying.
No, stop. I wasn't going to change you by force. I, Kenji, and I acknowledge your strength as well as Edgar's. In your prime, you might have been able to defeat me. But right now, that doesn't matter. Just listen to me. I want to tell you about my past.
About the past? Everyone listened attentively, curious to learn more about him. Kenji lived his entire life in Japan and was a perfect samurai, one of the strongest. Because of this, His clan's influence over others was quite high. We could say that their clan was the strongest and nobody liked it. Many invite him, and if anyone challenged, Kenji would resolve all issues with his katana. Besides that, he loved to cook and owned a sushi restaurant. His entire clan dined with him, and everything was wonderful. It was a live feat for a fairy tale, but that was before long. All the samurai who invite him despised him and the power of his clan. They gathered together, decided to exterminate his entire family so there will be no single strongest clan, and everyone will be equal. One night, while his entire household slept, the traitors cowardly attacked and killed everyone without exception. He miraculously survived because he wasn't sleeping at the time. He was inventing a new recipe for sushi. When he realized what was happening, it was too late. He was the last living member of his clan. He had to fight an entire army and managed to escape with only one scar. He succeeded in fleeing and leaving Japan. After that honor, Kenji didn't know where to go. In one night, his life became hell. He had no one left. His entire family had been killed. His mother, his father, they were gone. He was completely alone in this world, but he had to gather himself and move on. Not for himself, but for his relatives and loved ones, because they had always believed in him. Upon learning about the ring, he approached the council and asked for help. They offered him a chance to prove that he was a worthy samurai, gave him a task, some finances, and he opened his yatai. Nobody believed in him, but he managed to inspire many brawlers to fight again. He smiled at everyone who came, while in his heart he cried bitter tears. But there was no other choice. He had to prove that he was capable, and he did that in practice. He could not let down his parents and his clan. And so he must become a brawler to keep the memory of his family alive. From here, he would tell the world about them. And even after he was gone, the story of his clan and all his loved ones would remain for centuries. Yes, he missed his past life immensely, but there was no turning back. He had gone through hell and emerged.
The worst thing in life is to lose its meaning. Life is beautiful. No matter what, we must move forward. I am a living example. We all will die someday, but the question is, what will we leave behind?
Everyone was taken aback. Even Fang. No one knew about his past, including the council. They just wanted to cry, but everyone held back. A grave silence descended. Fang didn't know what to say. What he had endured was something even an enemy wouldn't wish for. Kenji approached the brawler and extended his hand as a sign of their reconciliation, and that will change. After that, Fang couldn't refuse to shake it. Kenji truly managed to help him, for if one falls, the other will lift his friend. But how sad it is when one falls and no one is there to help him up. Everyone began to shout in joy. Edgar couldn't believe it. He had succeeded. Thus, our wonderful samurai became a new legendary brawler. It couldn't have been any other way. Now, he was the strongest in the ring. Fang came to him to try his sushi, and Edgar was with them. Fang mentioned that he was from China. Wow, you wouldn't have guessed that. Yes, well, China and Japan have similar cultures. They enjoyed their conversation and had already become friends with Kenji. He said he would help them grow stronger. Now they could fight together. Yes, life goes on. Let's never give up, no matter what, as Kenji did. Let's thank God every day and live. Cherish every second, whatever happens.